Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this magnificent Monday, this spring Sydney Monday. It's early morning. The jacarandas are well into their lavender hue. There's a moon which is almost full. We've got this little crane down the bottom here, this little floating crane, and it's a wonderful start to the week. I've just hopped off the train and I never ever get off this station and I'm not amazed how beautiful it is. It's a little bit loud today, so I'll do my best. But let's get off and do a book summary. Today's book summary is entitled Get Good with Money by Tiffany Aiche. And she kicks off the book with an observation where she says that the most important aspect of keeping your money is being aware of how much of it you are spending. So awareness is a key, an important key, according to this author, in terms of getting on top of your money management. And the author gives us a call to action that we need to become financially literate, and most importantly, to have and stick to a financial budget. Because at the end of the day, we all have a lifetime ahead of us and we need to make our money work for us. And we need to use our money to eliminate stress rather than have money create stress in our lives. Easier said than done, but that's the book. That's the taste of what we're going to go through. And this book here is taking us on a journey of financial security where possible, because we all want it to be secure, but we also need to understand that we don't have, too much predictability and too much security in our lives. And for that reason, we need to make sure that we hold on to the dollars that we have once we've accumulated them, rather than fritter it away. So the author kicks off with the first formal point, where they say that it's important to set your first financial milestone as being the creation of a solid budget. We must try and learn, wherever possible, not to overspend our precious dollars on impulsive purchases that we may never get to enjoy. A lot of the impulsive stuff that we spend our money on ends up getting hoarded away in the garage or in the room, in the house, and we never get to, enjoy it as much as we thought we would. So the next point that the author talks about is that we need to start to save for something. It's important to make your dollars work for you. So we need to, be a little bit more strategic, a little bit more structured in what we do. So the author reminds us that one thing that we may want to consider is to create a list of income and all its sources, plus a list of all our expenses, to know where the money is coming from and where it's going, and what percentage of that money that we have moving through our hand are able to be saved for a rainy day or for a expensive or a long-loved purchase. The author talks about categorizing all of those items of our expenses into B for bills and UB for utility bills, and also have a category called NC for non-contractual bills. And if your bills and utility bills are a large proportion of your income, then you're not earning enough. So the first sort of sign that you're in a problem or have trouble is when the money that you're earning isn't enough to cover your bills and your utility bills. And if your if your non-contractual bills, sorry, if your non-contractual bills are high, like food, travel, and all the other things, then you're an overspender. So if you're spending too much on beers and pizza, then you may have problems because you're overspending. So we need to set up two savings accounts according to this author, one for emergencies and one for our long-term goals. And the most important thing, according to this book, is that it is a wise idea and a good idea to automate our payments to avoid temptations and errors. The second formal point, Jesus, busy out here today. The second formal point to come out of this book is that it's important to try and become debt-free and to boost your credit score. So what we need to do is we need to add a list of all the things we owe, and most importantly, to pay off the smallest to largest. And this is known in financial circles as the snowball method. And we also need to remove those debts, those amounts of money that we owe, which has the highest interest rate first. And in financial circles, this is known as the avalanche effect, avalanche method. It's really important to be able to knock off your debts. And as we said, knock them off, smallest to largest, and highest interest to lowest interest. And that way you're making the most effective use of your time and use of your money. And the last point in this book is that we need to invest our money to build up wealth. So an important point, I'll on this train here and finish off the book summary as I'm going, because I'm almost finished. But the last point of this author is to invest and to help build up wealth and to secure your retirement. Because sooner or later, we all need to retire. We all need to pull up stumps. So the author suggests reinvesting about 20% of our income every month. And the term compounding is something that is really powerful. And Albert Einstein described compound interest or compounding as the eighth wonder of the world. And once you've built your savings and once you've got your investments in place, the author here talks about the importance of not withdrawing greater than 4% every year. And the best way to build and contribute to your investments is through auto contributions, and you need to have a diversified portfolio of shares or investments, so that if there's a dip in the market, then at least you're covered and you don't have to stress too much. Because Warren Buffett tells us, informs us, that on an annual basis the share market will dip way up 10% annually, and every 3 to 4 years it may drop way up to 30, 40 or 50%. So you need to be aware of it, you need to be prepared for it, and to be ready for those dips financially and also psychologically. So the other thing that the author talks about here is you need to multiply your expenses by 25 in order to determine how much money you need when you stop working, how much money you'll need overall when you stop working. And the last point that the author makes in this book is to try and examine your own investment style. Are you an active or are you a passive investor? They're not all the same. An active investor is one who likes to get their hands involved in investments. For example, I have an active investment style.
Doors
I
closing.
trade shares
Please stand clear.
on a daily or weekly basis using a share broker. But there are other people who don't like to be bothered to be doing things on a daily basis and have a more passive style where you just put your money in a fund and let the fund managers worry about it. The last point that comes from this book is that we all need to understand what our risk profile is. Now, are we risk averse or do we have an appetite for risk? And knowing your risk style is very, very important to helping you invest, determining your vehicle of investment, and then making sure that you don't stress too much when your investments go up and down. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jen's 5am Club on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. Tomorrow is my wedding anniversary, 36 years. Married to my beautiful wife Paula. It just seems to go so quickly, but I still remember the day, and I still enjoy the company of my gorgeous wife. Anyway, I'll come to you again hopefully tomorrow with another episode from another location. I'm taking the day off work, and hopefully I'll be able to go and have a beautiful lunch with Paula throughout the day, and just reminisce on all the good times that we've had. Take care everybody, Yassas, and I look forward to chatting to you again shortly for another location with another message. Bye for now, and let's live, learn, and pass it on. Cheerio.